Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, I will to introduce our group. My name is Parasdita Ajeng Maharani, and my two partners is Rindam Pramudya Kusuma and ayyasy shihabbudin. Okay, here we will to explain about chronological organization.
Parasdita. It is also known as the chronological order. Chronological order is a way of organizing ideas in the order of their occurrence in time. Chronological order has all sorts of use. We use it to tell stories, to relate historical events, and to write biographies and autobiographies. Okay. We also use it to explain process and procedures. For example, we will use chronological order to explain how to take a photograph, how to make a piece of pottery, how to perform a chemistry experiment, or how to set up an accounting system. Such essays are called how to essays or essays. Understanding chernobyl. Clouds of radioactive steam soared into the sky. Fires burned unstoppably, sending radioactive smoke and particles into the atmosphere. Men dressed in protective clothing walked carefully to extinguish the fires and contain the contamination. Hundreds of residents hastily grabbed their possessions and fled their homes. Roadblocks and erected to keep strangers away. This was the scale at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in the former USSR in April 1986. The plant's nuclear reactor had exploded, spreading radioactive contamination over an area that stretched as far away as Norway and Sweden. This catastrophic accident raised fears about the safety of nuclear reactors around the world. Are such fears justified? To understand how the accident in Chernobyl happened, it is necessary to understand how a nuclear power plant is constructed and how to once operator.
And then the body. A nuclear power plant contains a nuclear reactor that uses controlled nuclear fission to produce electricity. The reactor consists of fuel rods alternating with control rods inside a very large container called the reactor core. The fuel rod contains radioactive fuel such as uranium-235, and the control rods contain neutron absorbing substances such as boron and cadmium. How do nuclear reactors produce electricity? First, a series of nuclear fissions are produced by bombarding the nuclei of uranium-235 with neutron. When a neutron strikes a nucleus, the nucleus splits, releasing energy. The energy then hits the water surrounding the rods, whose outside are made of zirconium. The hot water is pumped to a heat exchanger, where steam is produced. Finally, the steam passes to a turbine that drives a generator to produce electricity. How did the accident at Chernobyl happen? It happened because on the day of the accident, the safety system on the reactor had been disabled while operator performed an experimental test. During the test, the reactor cooled excessively and threatened to shut down. If this had happened, the operator would not have been able to restart the reactor for a long period of time. To avoid this situation, they removed most of the control rods, which was against all safety rules. Soon, the reactor began to overheat. When the reactor overheated, the fuse rods melted and spilled their radioactive content into the superheated water, which then flashed into the steam reacted with the zirconium cells of the fuel rods and with the graphite in the coolant water to produce hydrogen gas, which then ignited. The graphite burned for a long time, spreading even more radioactivity into the atmosphere. In the end, the cause of the Chernobyl accident was enormous. 31 people died, and several hundred were hospitalized. Thousands had to be evacuated and resettled. The soil around Chernobyl will remain contaminated for years. The lesson from Chernobyl is this: a well-designed nuclear power plant using normal fuel is not dangerous as long as proper safety the procedures are followed. And writing technique question: what is the thesis statement? How does it indicate that at least part of this essay will use chronological organization? And the answer is Chernobyl. Clouds of radioactive steam shoot into the sky. Fires burn unstoppably, sending radioactive smoke and particles into the atmosphere. And this essay will use chronological organization because the thesis statement is one of the first paragraph and use sequence conjunction.
Which two paragraphs explain processes how something works or how something happens? What two processes are explained? Answer is on paragraph 3 and 4. The third paragraph is describe how the nuclear reactors produce electricity, and the fourth paragraph is described about how the accident at Chernobyl happened. 3. Which paragraph describes the design of a nuclear power plant? Answer. The paragraph describing the design of a nuclear power plant is the second paragraph because in this paragraph include the parts of nuclear. 4. What kind of introduction does this essay have funnel or attention getting? Answer. The type of introduction in this essay is a funnel introduction type. The funnel technique cue to writing the introduction begins with generalities and gradually narrows your focus until you present your thesis. A good introduction engages people's emotions or logic, questions or explains the subject, or provides a striking image or quotation. Because this paragraph describes an event in general, it can be seen in the first paragraph of this essay that the process of the Chernobyl accident is explained by an error in doing work. And the impact of this is widespread so that the surrounding environment is also affected. Communities around the neighborhood became anxious and very worried because of the disaster. In this paragraph also describe how dangerous accident caused by nuclear. Therefore, this essay uses an introduction to the funnel type. And the lies. Number 5. What kind of conclusion does it have? Does it summarize the main points, paraphrase the thesis? Or is it a different kind? Does it a final comment? In your opinion, is this kind of conclusion appropriate for this essay? Answer. The type of conclusion is summarize the main points and it gives a final comment. In your opinion, is this kind of conclusion appropriate for this essay? Answer. The type of conclusion is summarize the main points and it define comment because in this type of conclusion the writer draws on the values and the main ideas in the essay. The writer engages in asking the audience to open or hold in memory focus on the conclusion. Thank you. Okay, Miss, that's enough from us. Thank you for your attention and sorry if there are mistakes in pronouncing the words. Thank you and good night. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.